Michigan Magazine is kept on the road by our many Michigan friends. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Santa's favorite stop, Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm of Clare. Come see and pet real reindeer. Visit the gift shop, get your picture taken in Santa's sleigh. Fun for the whole family. 'Tis the season, Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm, Clare. Misty of Sweet Misty Sweets in Luzerne is waiting for you with delicious banana splits and other ice cream goodies and fresh coffee, donuts, pastries, humongous, and Dunkin' cookies. All sizes of cakes. Planning a wedding? Call Misty. Creating smiles daily and for a lifetime. Sweet Misty Sweets, north of the light in Luzerne. Bringing inanimate objects seemingly to life is truly an art. We discover how true this is as we visit northwestern Lower Michigan and the studios of Maryanne Vick, who creates, from stones and rocks, 3D pet portraits and various other rock critters. But first, join us as we journey a few miles north of the Ohio and Indiana borders to a place called Lost Nation, a resurrected Old West town created by Roger and Sylvia Stiles. We step back into yesteryear for some amazing Old West fellowship. It's all coming up on Michigan Magazine. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare. What began as a crazy idea among 9 police officers to purchase the historic Clare City Bakery quickly became an international phenomenon, carrying on a Michigan tradition with delicious donuts, pies, pastries, breads, original coffee, and more. Plus a full menu at the new adjacent Traffic Stop Diner. Downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Rose City Drug, just south of the Rose City city limits at 2640 North M33, featuring a state-of-the-art, completely automated and extremely accurate computer-filled prescription process.
Here at Rose City Drug, we're family-owned and operated for over 20 years. We offer fast and friendly service, and we always take the extra step to make sure your needs are fulfilled.
This is Lost Nations. It's really not a nation, and it's really not an actual town or village. It's not really even lost. It's located in the backyard of Sylvia and Roger Stiles near Hastings, Michigan. What it is the product of the love and imagination of Sylvia and Roger. Sylvia's creative love of art is where the seed came from. Her paintings and creations can be found on display throughout the village. Sylvia's need to complete her works right down to the rustic frames made from barnwood necessitated a dependable supply of the antique wood. That supply was assured, but only by purchasing entire old barns. More than enough barnwood was harvested. That's where the love of the Old West, art, and the carpentry skills and imagination of Roger came into play.
It was piled up. What do we do with it? And I said, well, why don't we build a store? And it just took off from there.
And the Mercantile, is that one of the first ones that you did? Or? Okay.
And then the jail.
So you're telling me this all started pretty much out of the collection of scrap wood for frames? Is that what it was? Oh my gosh, what a story.
We cut a lot of logs off the property and we brought the Army sawmill over here and they cut them up for us and they took half the wood for pay, so we didn't really have to spend a lot of money to do this. And got some real good Amish friends that helped us an awful lot. We couldn't have done this without them.
So you guys have a kind of an affinity or a love for the Old West then, eh? Just kind
I guess so.
Yeah. I see some of your paintings, your originals. You do it like the Old West and some of the old cowboy heroes. And
I like that, yeah. They're easy to do. They got a lot of wrinkles.
Yes. But I've seen some of your paintings, and this is one of your first loves, is the art world, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you know, this town is unique in the fact that it's really not a commercial venture. It's just a love of what you're doing, of what it's all about.
Just friends and family.
Yeah. And you have get-togethers here a lot, do you? Or
quite a few, yeah.
Yeah. And what do you do here? Just have fun, sing?
Just we have music. We have music coming. Here's our piano. Come over here, piano player.
Oh, piano player. Oh. Is this Miss Kitty or what?
This is Miss Nancy.
She's not just a piano player, she's the most awesome piano player.
Miss Awesome piano player, okay.
Yes.
I just do my thing.
Oh, all right.
Love to play.
And when she's not playing the piano, she's an investigative reporter.
Oh my,
yes.
No kidding.
We got to show them your pride and joy over here.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? Tell us about that. What's that?
I saw a birdhouse at Myers. And
Okay.
I said to my husband, do you think we could build that?
Uh-huh.
He said, yeah, I guess so. You draw it out.
And that's what this is.
That's the outhouse.
As Sylvia and Roger gave us a personal tour of their town, guests began to arrive for a day of fun, food, and music. It was an amazing sight, like stepping into a dream world of days gone by. Even a one-room schoolhouse. Remember those? I certainly do. In my dreams, that is.
Okay.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. You've taken a lot of work. You guys don't have any free time, do you? I mean, this is your free time. I mean, if you...
Well, we go dancing every
Yeah, there you go. We've all heard that famous line from Field of Dreams, if you build it, they'll come. Well, it's true, but Roger and Sylvia are very selective as to who they are. It's family and friends only that know the location of Lost Nations. Our journey and tour continued with a dance hall modeled after the famous former Graceland Ballroom of Lupton. There's a jail, a blacksmith shop, bunkhouse, and of course Roger's deer blind, disguised as a building in the town that overlooks a lush meadow that would tempt the most cautious of bucks. Roger told us that this was one of the first buildings constructed in Lost Nations, a real necessity with all the modern comforts of home. It certainly was a day of great fellowship, with family and friends arriving with arms full of food to add to the potluck dinner that was served out of the bunkhouse. What a feast! And the day was capped off with live music and plenty of dancing. We thank Roger and Sylvia for sharing Lost Nations with us and our viewers. The day was a perfect example of a couple's love for each other and making each other's dreams come true, and at the same time bringing friends and family together to relax, have fun, laugh, and forget that busy world out there by becoming a part, if for just the day, of Lost Nations, somewhere in the rolling hills near Hillsdale, Michigan.
'Cause I'm always here at home till closing time. Thanks to you, I'm always here till closing time.
Michigan Magazine is being brought to you in part by... Your northern experience is never complete without a stop at the historic Ma Dieters of Luzerne. Enjoy the ambiance inside or outside on the huge patio area. Order from the complete menu with entrees served hot, fresh, and good. Come experience Ma Dieters in the heart of God's country, Luzerne, Michigan. Introducing the Weed Gator for safe and easy aquatic weed removal. The Weed Gator is the #1 alternative to harsh chemicals for getting rid of pond and lake weeds. Safe and effective. See it in action now at weedgator.net. Made in the USA. Clemix Sales and Service on Mapes Road, west of Mile, your complete recreational vehicle sales and service connection. Visit their beautiful showroom of new and pre-owned ATVs, lawnmowers, power equipment, snowmobiles, utility vehicles, and more. Clemix Sales and Service is also the home of the American-made Victory motorcycle line on display at Clemix on Mapes Road, Mile. Michigan is blessed with hundreds of miles of Great Lakes shoreline, which has been the inspiration of many an artist. From the sunsets to its picturesque coastal shores, the scenes have been captured on both canvas and film. There's one artist from the Leelanau County area that takes the inspiration of Michigan's shoreline a little differently. Her artistry begins right under her feet. The wave-tossed rocks and stones that are found along the beaches of the Great Lakes shores are what provides Maryanne Vic Moraz with an outlet for her artistic expressions. In the rocks and stones, she sees the shapes and personalities of wild animals and pets. The smooth surfaces of the wave-tossed stones provide a most suitable canvas for Mary's rock critters. A stroll along the beach will undoubtedly find Mary intently studying what's under her feet. When she does see something special in the stone, she brings it back to her home studio.
And whatever I can visualize in the stone, I paint it.
It's a three-dimensional rendition, too. I mean, this is...
Yes, it is. I visualize everything in 3 dimension, and that's where I carry it off from that. In the painting, it's a lengthy process, but I like the end results. This one is in its final stages right now.
I see that it's not something that you would start out with. I mean, you had previous art training or art experience and more or less a flat medium, I would imagine, wouldn't you? Or did you just start right out like that?
No, I'm self-taught, and I've just always loved animals, and I've loved the outdoors. And this is just something that I came up with. I've seen it done. I'd seen people paint the little landscapes on flat stones and that type of thing. And I'd seen people do the whimsical owls on stones that stood upright. I've been doing this for over 22 years
My
now.
goodness.
And developed my craft through then. It was more Disney-esque when I first started out, but they were real popular at every show I went to. But since then, I've gotten more into the realism and the detail, and I use a lot of photo references so I can really capture the animal.
So when I see you out in the wilderness one day, you see and you look at things differently than other people. You probably look at stones now or rocks in forms of animals or things of that sort, right?
Unfortunately, yes. And I'm always looking. I usually collect my stones at the beach shores. Michigan beach shores are the best because they've really been hit by the waves and the sand, and they're nice and smooth. But I do go out in the woods and the fields out here, even on the roadsides. I've always got my eye to the ground looking for any unique shape I can find.
Now, you said your earlier ones were more Disney-esque. Could you explain that term?
Well, they were purple purple hippopotamuses and pink elephants, that type of thing with real smiley faces, but the detail was still there. But my caricatures evolved into the realism after the years I've been working. I just decided I wanted to make them look as real as possible so that when they're finished, you feel as though you're actually holding the real thing. And there's something important about the shape and the size. There's such a great feeling when they're finished. The reason is that once I'm done, the rock is warm from the body heat in my hand. So once they're finished, you're holding a warm little creature in your hand. And when people hold the rocks, after a few minutes, they become warm.
They do.
And people are really enticed by that.
They do have a character all themselves,
Yes,
don't
they do.
I mean, it's a living creature through an inanimate object.
Right.
It's really a unique concept you got going here. How long did it take you to develop this? The full 20 years? Or
Well, the first few years they were real whimsical, but the more I painted, the more I wanted the realism to show. And then I started using a lot of photo references and just really looking at animals. A lot of times now I'll even look at birds that have maybe fallen in the yard or the cat has brought in to check the wings and the feather line. And I just want them to be as perfect as possible if I can achieve that.
So you find yourself going through a lot of reference material too to make sure.
Yes.
Make sure. Now this is a nice, interesting little concept. Can I pick this up?
Sure. That's a large piece. I don't usually work in that size, but I wanted a doorstop. And when I display at an art show, I usually try to demonstrate. So this is a piece I can demonstrate on so that people can see how I paint.
I see.
Because the smaller ones are so hard for people to watch.
Is there a special method you have to use to gain this three-dimensional aspect?
It's more, since I'm not a trained artist, it's just something I've sort of acquired through the years. I use a lot of heavy brush strokes and then glazes to acquire the shading and the highlighting, and then over again with more dry brush technique to bring out the hair and the whiskers and the highlights on the face and the whole body. Now you can see this isn't finished on the back. It's very rough here. So there's a lot of hours left to go in this one.
I just touched that because I thought these were actual, but this is a smooth surface more or less, and you added the dimension to it yourself.
Right,
That's neat.
That's
what other types of animals have you seen in rocks and stones along the way?
Well, I have a fish here. This is a pumpkin seed sunfish that I'm working on, and
look at that.
It's starting to come along. I wasn't happy with it before, but it's coming along now. I got the scales on it. And see, it's a flat stone in it, but it sat upright, and it was a fun fish. I haven't done many fish, so this was kind of a challenge. I've done turtles, I've done birds, many birds. I do people's pets too. I do their dogs and cats from photos, and that's fun too because then they have their own little pet they can hold in their hand. Well, I've done almost every kind of animal, but I do more or less stick to the ones that you find up in Michigan.
As you were growing up, did you have any inkling that you were going into an artistic direction?
Yes, I always illustrated animals. Even when I was 8 and 9, I'd draw my cat, and I always drew horses. I was always just amazed by the horses, of course. But yes, I just always assumed I would be drawing or painting animals or somehow illustrating.
Do you remember the first rock maybe you picked up and said, well?
Yes, I do.
You do? What was that?
That was a rabbit. I started with a rabbit and a turtle. They were the first ones I did.
How did you do this? I mean, how old were you?
Well, I was in my early 20s when I started with that. And it was something, I was camping, and I had brought my paints, but I didn't have my paper with me or anything else, and I was totally bored. It was a bad rainy day, and I had been outside. I always collect rocks. I'm just a rock hound. I don't know much about the rocks, what type they are, but some people, and I'm one of them, that just have that habit of picking up smooth rocks and holding them and carrying them around. And I started with a rabbit. That was the first one I did, and then a turtle.
And then a turtle. And then it progressed. How many have you done so far?
I really can't say how many I've done. Probably a couple thousand in my lifetime, because I do this now for a living, and I've done quite a few art shows up and down the coast of the East Coast. And they are national now. I work with stores throughout the country. So
do you pretty much kind of go in the direction of things that you can pick up, or have you done any large
Yes,
works,
this is the largest I've ever done. There's a stone outside stuck in my garden. My husband thinks I'm going to paint. An ambitious project.
Do you accept commission type work, or like you said, you do with the people's pets and things of that sort, but do you just, what do you prefer, commission work or just to do something on your own?
I like both. I really enjoy the commission work, and it's always a challenge to capture someone's pet. The features and the face is it's a real challenge every time. You'd think it would be easier, but it's not. The more I've painted, the longer it's taken me, because I want more and more detail and more exactness in it. So it's gotten to be quite an ordeal with each piece now.
What's the most rewarding part of this? To see somebody come up and say, is that real?
People, well, that's very rewarding. The other rewarding thing is when people, they come to pick up their pet that I've painted, a lot of people cry.
Really?
Big grown burly men will hold this little rock in their hand and cry. And it's pretty amazing to see that, and that's very rewarding to know that I've reached what I wanted.
That would be. Now, what brought you here to this part of the state? I understand you're from upstate New York.
Oh, well,
pretty much in the earlier days.
Yes, basically friends that I had known, I came up to visit and fell in love with this area. It's somewhat like upstate New York with the water, but this area was so clean and just so beautiful. The water, just the color of it was astounding. The turquoise color in the summer.
It's a very inspiring area through here.
It really is.
The inspiration has spilled over into other parts of artwork. You also involved in other parts. I mean, other different types of medium, aren't you? Stained glass?
Well, I needed an outlet. This is so time-consuming, and so the concentration level is pretty high, and I needed an outlet. And my husband is a stained glass artist, and so I got involved in that and started getting involved in creating outdoor pictures in stained glass, similar to what's here, outside here. That's why it's so inspirational. So now we do have a business in the stained glass, and I do the design work, and my husband does the construction.
Maryanne, we'd like to thank you very much for taking time to tell us about your wonderful world of rock critters here in the Leelanau Peninsula. I wish you the best of luck, and maybe we'll see new things in rocks as we pass along, and maybe
I hope so.
Will inspire us. Thank you very much for
Thank
appearing.
you.
So, from inspiration of Michigan's Great Lakes shoreline comes the creations known as rock critters, the unique artistry of Maryanne Vic-Moraz, another fine Michigan artist who finds her inspiration literally right under her feet.
Vacation. Don't make the planning of it more than what you're trying to get away from. At northernmichigancabinrentals.com, you can choose from over 2,500 cabins, cottages, lodges, resorts, lakefront vacation home rentals, and more. Whatever experience you're looking for, from rustic to luxury and everything in between. No more rustling with telephone books. No more endless internet searches. Just one site with over 2,500 Northern Michigan destinations. northernmichigancabinrentals.com.
Something special's cooking, hot and delicious. Indulge yourself at Morning at Maggie's in Bay City. Omelets, frittatas, hotcakes, and more. Make every day special with a stop at Morning at Maggie's for breakfast or lunch on Saginaw in Bay City. Rose Valley Winery on Beechwood Road in Rose City. See what thousands are raving about, creating a delicious variety of award-winning Michigan wines. Stop by and taste for yourself. The taste of Michigan is yours at Rose Valley Winery. The Michigan-made rebounding mailbox pull. Never again worry about the winter snowplow taking out your mailbox with this ingenious rebounding pull. Your mailbox takes a hit and keeps coming back year after year. Call now or visit their website, toughmailboxes.com. And there you have it, another week off the beaten path. Thanks for joining us. For more information on today's show, visit MichiganMagazine.com or our daily journal at thespiritofmichigan.com. Here you'll also be able to check out what happens behind the scenes and also what's coming up on future adventures. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next edition of Michigan Magazine. We'd like to thank all those that help keep Michigan Magazine on the road. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Hingeman Acres, Canoe Livery and Resort on M33 just north of Mayo, catering to the outdoor enthusiasts. Cabins, canoes, kayaks, rafts, and more. Daytime or overnight trips along the world-famous Asabo River. A family getaway for over 75 years. Experience the beauty, artistry, and taste of northern Michigan. Come to Amish Country Natural Products on Mount Tom Road, north of Mayo, just off M33. From arts and crafts to fresh foods and vegetables, all natural, all local, all good. Stop by and get acquainted with Amish Country Natural Products, 1454 North Mount Tom Road, Mayo. Hale Hardware, your do-it-center in Hale, Michigan. Much more than a regular hardware store, providing everything you need for whatever your project is, along with a knowledgeable sales staff to get her done. Serving northern Michigan since 1946. Hale Hardware, south of M65 at Ainsley in Hale.